This is Manny of the Waste, and today we're talking light boxes. This is a super cool way to put your own emblem over your own bases. You can make these in any of your settlement bases. They are fairly expensive, and you're gonna need to be copper rich. It's not too involved in making them, but it's a little complex. You have to kind of do it exactly, otherwise it's not going to work. So I'm going to put some annotations in the corner of the video, and then you just follow those to whatever point you're stuck on. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys to the best of my ability how this works. Again, I said this is a little confusing. It took me an entire night to figure this out. So okay, so number one, they can only be built on the floor, which is a bit of a pain until you realize you can just build it up. So I'll give you an example of that. Okay, next thing is you're gonna want some serious copper. I mean some serious copper, because not only do you need one copper to make it, you're gonna need one copper to power it, plus all the copper you're gonna need to make the generators, because each light box requires one power. 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 5 is one medium generator, and then makes these 5. Oh, geez. 3, 4. Sorry, snapping. But that's gonna make these 5 10 power. Sorry. So you're going to need a large generator to power these, okay? So now that we know what power we need, because to do the MFC logo up there, I needed quite a bit of power. So we'll go with a medium generator and a large generator, okay? And so this is pretty much it for setup. If you wanted to have them like off the ground, then what you can do is you can just take them back and move them. But in order to make it, you're gonna have to build them up from the ground. Okay, so this is part 1 of setup. We have the adequate amount of power, and we have the adequate amount of light. So in the next part, I'm gonna show you how to wire it all. So we're back. Now, this is one of the coolest things I found out, is that you can wire the light boxes to themselves. And you do that just how you power anything. You just click it, you move it over, you click it, and you move it over, and you click it. There you go. Okay. So now that you have your light box powered, this is really important, okay? This is really important. You're gonna need your pylon. The reason you have to use a pylon is because it separates the colors, and you'll understand what I mean in a moment. But for now, just know that for each color, like if you wanted this red and then half of it white, you would need a pylon for each, but we'll explain that one on this one. Okay, so now that we have it to our pylon, we're going to put it up to our generator, and as you can see, we're good to go. We're all lit. Now here's something that I found out recently, is that you don't have to have a terminal to change the color. You could just get up to the light box and change the color. Although for getting things like the MFC and the giant Manny Faces face, that was impractical, and it just wasn't gonna work. Okay, so now we're gonna show you how to wire 2 colors that are connected, like how you see in the MFC logo. And we're just gonna do it again. We're gonna wire these up. The biggest difference is we will not wire them to each other. You see how I have, let me put my light on. Okay. You see how I have just one cord going up this one? Okay, now let's say I wanted to make a diagonal here. Then what I would do is I could just literally diagonal it. Okay, you saw how I did that? That does not work. You can't link more than one. You literally have to go 1 to 1 to 1. And that's what really makes it expensive. I was spending small fortunes on copper, but I'm kind of rich now. I got that video coming out in a little bit, and then you too can be a cat baron of the waste. But anyways, we're gonna take our two. So we want this row over here as a color, and we want this row here as a color. Okay, so all that's good. We're on. Excuse. So we're gonna take our pylons and we're gonna light them up. And we should have color front, white front. Okay, so in the next part I'm gonna show you how to hook up a terminal to it, because it's not as straightforward as you think. So we'll be back. Okay, and we're back. Now this is super important. This is the next super important thing next to the pylons. When you go to hook up colors, you have to disconnect the power. Okay, that's number one, because what it is that the system gets confused. Any light box that has power around the main terminal, they'll think that they all share. Okay, so you just make sure you have all the terminals off. Okay, now we're just gonna do this side first. So we're gonna hook it up and make sure it has power. Okay, and then from there we're gonna come in here and we're going to put our terminal. Okay, now terminals do require Hacker 1. I really fought to get the perk because I don't really feel it all that necessary, but it's still good stuff. So if you want to be able to do anything and make cool light boards, then just waste one. Alright, so now that we have our one bar lit and all our others are turned off, we're going to go to our terminal and we're going to go to Lightbox Controls and we're going to set the color. And we're going to go with a nice green. What's cool is you can set the brightness of it. I find that normal gives you the most color saturation, dim is a little darker, and bright is almost like a whitish. So we're going to go normal for effect. Okay, and then as you can see, we got sweet green. Okay, now we want to do the second color. So
not much.
What we got to do, we got to come in here and we're going to disconnect the power to the green. It's totally fine, trust me. The system is smarter than even I thought it was, but then it really could have explained this. I mean, it really could have explained this. Okay, so now we're going to get our second hooked up. Listen up. Okay, so from here to there, and hopefully my terminal will reach that. It should work. Nope, that is not gonna work. I don't usually put the terminal in the front. I just did it for effect, but it's causing issues, so we'll just move it to the back. Okay, so we're doing this side, so we're gonna hook this up to the terminal. We're gonna hook the terminal up to power.
Coming in.
We're gonna go in the front. I did a lot of that. I did a lot of checking because you just want to only have to do it once. Okay, so we're going into our terminal. Same thing as before. Lightbox controls. Set color. We're gonna go for a sweet orange this time. Alright, and so we're gonna come back around and see we got 4 oranges, but our green is all dark. Okay, now we're pretty much done. This was a really simple example. When you try to make your more elaborate things, then you're gonna come up with some issues. But now you don't need the terminal anymore. You just power both of the lights. Yep. And there you go. See, we got our orange and we've got our green. Now I want to show everybody something, so that way I don't get a lot of mean comments. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't have the power to support your board. You see how I have all these breaks in it? That means I just don't have enough power in the system to support the board. So all you need to do is just keep hooking up power. In my main mansion, I have 250 power to support the Manny Faces logo. So it's very copper intensive, but you get to make some really cool stuff. And as you can see, the red even stayed, because how it works is that once the light box is lit in a specific color, it remembers that color until it gets removed, which I thought was pretty cool. And there you go, guys. It's pretty simple, it's super cool, and it's a worthy addition to your base. I could actually show you. You can see these from pretty far away.
Easy living, this ain't.
Which I thought was kind of darn awesome. So just a quick recap. They have to be built on the floor, but you can always remove the ones on the floor to raise it up vertically. Okay. Number 2. They require 1 power each. So as you can see for the Manny Faces 15 by 15 face, it took quite a bit of power. Okay. Remember, each color has to be wired separately and wired to a pylon in order to work. If you don't do it that way, the face, as the Man Faces face, would not recognize it, and it would just turn it all yellow or all purple. Okay, the next thing is just make sure that you understand that if half of your structure isn't lit, you don't have enough power. And you might think you have enough power, but 235 power lights everything in the mansion, but it's still not enough for some reason. So you just might not have enough power. And just get creative with it. In order to make the face, I had full scaffolding and all types of stuff just to make it easier on myself. So anyways, this is the Lightbox tutorial. Hope you guys like it. Leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know about the cool stuff you guys create with light boxes. Thanks for watching. This is Manny of the Waste, signing out.